Okay. 6 o'clock. Welcome. I want to welcome you all to our February 3rd meeting for Yankton County Commission. At this point in time, I'd appreciate if you'd all join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Again, thank you all for attending our meeting this evening. I appreciate you all coming out on this drizzly evening, however, February 3rd, and it's 30 some degrees on my thermometer when I showed up. So I appreciate that 100%. So Patty, would you please take roll?
Wanda,
Here.
Ryan,
Here.
Dan,
Here.
Don,
Here.
John.
Here. This time, any financial conflicts of any of the board members?
I do not. I do not.
I do not. I do not.
I do not. I'd like to see if we could get an approval of the agenda.
I would move to add to item 16, personnel issues.
16, personnel issues.
And I would like to add, maybe right after public comment, just an introduction for our new extension person, and 4-H and extension person.
Okay,
With those modifications, I would move approval.
Second.
okay, got a motion by Wanda, second by Dan to approve the agenda with modifications that's stated. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. At this time, it's time for public comment. Here, do we have anyone listed that you know of? Okay, well, I should have read this prior to that. Public comment is time for persons to address the body on any subject. No action may be taken on a matter raised under this item of the agenda until the matter itself has been specifically included on an agenda as an item upon which action will be taken. Each person has up to 3 minutes to speak. There shall be no personal attacks against members of this body, county staff, individual or organizations. The chair has the authority to enforce this policy. Failure to adhere to these rules may result in forfeiture of the remaining speaking time. Per county policy, the Yankton County Commissioners will not engage in conversation or make statements during public comment. At this time, I see or hear of no public comment. Public comment is closed. This time, Ryan, would you want to make your announcement?
Yes, actually, starting yesterday, Yankton County now has a new 4-H extension person. So I'd like Madison to come up and introduce herself.
Hey, hello, my name is Madison Melcher. I am the new 4-H Extension Educator for Yankton County. A little bit about myself. I just graduated from South Dakota State back in December with an Ag Leadership degree, and then I have a certificate in Global Ag Leadership and minors in Animal Science and Leadership and Management of Nonprofit Organizations. So a wide range of topics that I studied during my college career. I'm originally from across the border down in Nebraska by O'Neill. I grew up on a registered Hereford cattle ranch. I still have my own herd that I help manage down there and help sell bulls every year. So it's a fun project to be closer to home to. Other than that, I'm very excited to be here. I grew up in 4-H, showed cattle, did other projects. So very excited to help grow this 4-H program.
I'm sure on behalf of all of us, we want to welcome you to Yankton County. And, you know, Herefords are not my forte, but that's okay. That's okay. We'll allow you to bring that into our abode also. So
Horned or
welcome.
polled?
Both. We have both a horned and polled herd. So
Welcome to Yankton County. I appreciate you taking the opportunity to join us here and look forward to many years of success in our 4-H program.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Okay, moving on.
Register of Deeds.
Register of Deeds, Brian, you're up.
Welcome.
There we go. Well, good evening and thank you. I'm here to give you the yearly report for 2025 from the Register of Deeds office. We collected $349,096 in total fees last year. That's the second highest total in the history of our office. And that includes $188,087 in land transfer fees, resulting from a county record $188 million in sales of homes, commercial properties, and farmland. Last 2 months of the year, we totaled $52 million in real estate sales, which is a nice way to finish the year. Those last 2 months, we saw the $10 million sale of the Northtown Motors dealership, and there was actually 4 different farm sales that exceeded 4 million, farmland sales. So that was a nice finish to the year. That 188 million breaks our old record by 12 million, and it's 23 million more than we collected last year, and it's 58 million above our 10-year average of 130 million. A few of our individual items, we had over 9,000 transactions last year. We had 1,944 liens, which is an increase of about 300. We had 1,217 death records. We had 1,133 birth records, which was up about 60. So 870 deeds, 660 mortgages, 583 mortgages paid off, 240 marriage records, 152 marriage licenses, and 73 assignments, 59 notary signatures. Those are the ones we collect for. The ones we do for county officials, we don't charge. So going to the next page, as I mentioned, we had a really good year in real estate sales, 188 million. Then you see our month-to-month real estate sales, which culminated in those big 2 months at the end of the year. Total fees collected, I said, was 349,000. That's about 40,000 over our 10-year average of 310,000. And just to break down that 349,000, 188,000 or 54% came from the transfer fees. 86,900 or 25% was from real estate recording fees. 44,000 or 12% was from vital record fees, and 29,900 or 9% was from copy fees. The next page, we get into some of the vital records. Marriage licenses, we had 152, which is below our 10-year average. And coincidentally, it's the same number we had in 2024, 152 now for 2 straight years. In divorces, these are divorce decrees completed, not divorce actions started. We had 53, which is a little below our 10-year average. Clerk of Courts also reported a drop in cases initiated. We had 87 of those in 2023, 65 in 2024, and just 52 last year. Resident births, we had 253, which is pretty close to our 10-year average of about 5 per week. Births that occur in Yankton County, in addition to the resident births, we had 532. So these are births at the hospital from out-of-county residents. Burial permits, we had 185. This resident deaths total is unofficial. It always takes the state about till the end of February to give me the official number. But it looks to me, based on some different factors, that we're going to be about 20 below last year. So that's nice. I think that's a good thing. On to one of our favorite topics, county liens. 1,761 of those last year. We also had 178 state liens and a handful of federal and mechanic liens. So that 1761 was an 8-year high. I've been tracking this now for 8 years. Which was up about 300 from last year. And our total was up about 93,000 from 2024. So in cash lien totals, we had 397,000 in 2023, 583,500 in 2024, and now 678,500 for 2025. And poor relief really jumped in the last year. We had we had 251,200 in 2024, and that went up to 357,200 last year. So that's a $106,000 increase. Legal counsel liens actually went down a little, but the two added up to 678,543. Yankton County liens collected. We had $109,431 in liens collected, which is, better than it was. For the last 2 years, we've collected about $1 for every $6 spent. And that's much better than if you look at 2023, when it was about a 14-to-1 ratio. So we're making progress, at least in increasing collections.
Would you explain exactly what that is, $1 for every 6 spent?
Well, as I mentioned earlier, we had 678,500 spent and 109,431 collected.
And Brian, statistically, it's very unlikely we will collect that debt. I mean, historically speaking, Patty, and I think that's just really important for the community and the public to hear is these are services that we are forced by law to provide, whether it's poor relief, legal counsel, and we're spending your property tax dollars to do this. And then people are either don't have the ability or they choose not to pay the county back from that. And there's nothing the county we can do. We can put a lien on them, but if they don't own any real property, there is no mechanism we have to collect. And we tried to do a bill a couple years ago to have us the ability to do that with the state, and it got defeated. So that's a huge amount, almost $700,000, and it's just important you guys realize that. So thank you.
And Brian, what's our avenue right now to collect, or how do we work on collecting these fees? Do we turn it over to a collection agency? What's our ramifications to collect these?
I'm going to defer to Patty on that, but I will say generally when we do make a collection, a lot of times it's when we have some leverage. And what I mean by that is if somebody with a lien on their record wants to buy a piece of real estate, they have to satisfy that lien before they're going to be cleared to purchase the real estate. So that's generally one of the drivers, isn't it, Patty?
But we do have a company that we
Yeah.
agreed to work with. And
Your
as long as-
microphone's not on. I know.
Alyssa gave me the report she had, and we filed with the collection agency $1,056,359, and we've only collected $787.
Well, people forget that a lot of these people don't have jobs. They're transient. They don't own property. They rent. So it's hard to collect from somebody who doesn't have anything.
And I understand that, but there's got to be a way that either, and I don't know if like Dan and I have talked to the state about you can't get the state has a process where you can't get a fishing license unless you don't
Pay your
own-
child
unless you
support.
pay your child support or you pay your debt to the county or whatever. And the state will not allow us to do that. So there's got to be, talk to your Congress, your legislators, talk to them. And, we're right in the middle of the session right now. We're 1/3 of the way through the session. And this is an issue that needs to just think about what Yankton County could do with an extra $1 million, even if it was 500,000. Just think of what we could do with an extra $500,000 this year. If there was a way that we could say, hey, you can't get a hunting license, you can't get a driver's license. Okay.
Then they can't work.
You can get a worker's permit, but you can't get a driver's license to go across the river to buy cigarettes or buy gas or whatever, unless you pay the debt to Yankton County. And these are issues that we need to deal with with the with our state legislators right now that are out in Pierre right now.
Patty, what did you say that number was that we sent to that company? It was 1,500,000. What was that? I wanted to write that down.
1,056,359.
And of that $1 million, we've collected 700 and some dollars.
Follow up what you're saying, Mr. Chairman. I was disappointed, frankly, that we didn't push harder to get that transfer fee increase. If we had done that, that would have been an additional 375,000 for the county next year. If you base it on the 188,000 we collected this year, we were talking about raising it from $1 to $3. I understand there was a couple of commissioners that objected and it kind of died on the vine, but sometimes you have to climb past those objections and let the legislature have a shot at it. We didn't even do that. My office budget was 13,800 below budget. And this year I have a smaller budget, but I'm still going to come in under. Might not be by 13,000, it might be by 2,000, but I want to just finish up talking a little bit about the county financial situation, because I read so much about it in the paper and I watch the meetings. And so we ended the year at 5.1 million in our general fund. And that's the average that we would end the year at in all those years pre-COVID, the 7 years from 2014 to 2020. If you take the end of the year general fund and average it, it was 5.1. So I think really we're pretty close to where we were pre-COVID. And I think it sets us up for a pretty good year. I think by the end of this year, when I give this report a year from now, I think that 5.1 will be even higher. I have various reasons I believe that I can give you, but I mean, we cut the budget by over $1 million. You did. And so we ended the year at 5.1. We had cash applied of 3.4. So that gives us about a $1.7 million head start, plus the fact that you cut the budget, plus the fact that we will see some increase in property tax revenue. So all those things, I think, state government has not been kind to counties, but I suspect Yankton County is in better shape than many. Mm-hmm. And the last thing I want to say is the department heads are efficient. We were 7th in the state in county government costs per capita. We spent $860 per person per county resident, and the average in the state was $1,509. And keep in mind, we're spending $860 with the additional burden of running an ambulance service, which most counties don't have. So I think we're doing pretty well. That's all I have, unless you have any questions.
How much did you say we spend per resident?
The study I have, which was I think from 2 years ago, was 860. I haven't seen a new one since then.
Versus 1,700.
1,500 is the state average, and we're spending 860, which is 7th in the state. Okay.
Just like our license plate shows.
Yep. Well, thank you for all your support.
Yeah.
Appreciate you.
Thank you, Brian. Patty, we need to approve the report or motion to approve the Register of Deeds yearly report?
Second.
I have a motion by Dan, a second by Ryan to approve our Register of Deeds annual report. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Thank you. I appreciate all the information. It's very good.
Next on the agenda, we have a liquor license transfer. Kristen Kozak, you're up.
Welcome.
Hello. I am Kristen. I'm the current owner of Fire and Ice, and I'm requesting that my liquor license and alcohol license be transferred to my new entity. We're doing some rebranding.
Talk loud.
I'm looking to transfer my liquor and alcohol license to my new entity from Fire and Ice.
Thank you. And it's a hearing, so we got to open it up.
Yeah, so any public comment on this liquor transfer? Seeing none, I would close public comment at this point in time. I just have one question. The Fire and Ice did have a liquor and malt beverage license.
That's correct.
and we're transferring them both from Fire and Ice to
Sully.
Sully's LLC.
Yes.
Move approval of the request.
Second.
So a motion by Dan, second by Ryan to approve the transfer of the liquor license. And we do them both, bulk malt beverage, or do we gotta do them separately?
Yeah, we'll just
You get to
state
do
in
them
that,
separate.
that it's malt liquor. Maybe you better do such
Okay. Okay,
Which one do you want first? Billy?
the liquor license
Okay.
we've already got.
For the liquor license, all right. Then we need to vote, Mr. Chair.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Move approval of the request for the malt liquor license. Is that correct?
Malt beverage.
Malt
Malt
beverage. Thank you.
Malt beverage.
Got a motion by
Second.
Dan, second by Ryan to approve the malt beverage transfer from Fire and Ice to Summit. Excuse me. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Yep.
So now we'll see the grand opening here shortly.
When?
Okay,
Welcome.
Highway, Mike.
Every 2 years, we have to approve a consultant for our bridge inspections. So there is attached is the, should have in your packets, the copy of the resolution and then the list of consultants. My recommendation is to stick with IMEG. We've had them now for
Ever.
a few years, so.
They do a good job and I really appreciate their presentation, especially for the James River bridges that they do. And we're still doing annual inspections on the
Yep.
James. Is that included in this or is that a
Yes.
separate one? And I just go back a little bit and, Don and I would remember this, why the annual inspections of the James River bridges are so important is when we had that big ice storm and the ice hit, Jamesville Bridge and caused damage. If we wouldn't have had that inspection prior to that, proving that, I think that saved us 350,000 just with that bridge. And then also the ones we've had on Johnson Bridge, identifying those problems early and getting them fixed. And I think it's well worth it to do these inspections. And I guess I'd move approval of the inspection program.
Second.
Got a motion by Dan, second by Don to approve the bridge reinspection program resolution with, and hiring IMEG to make those inspections. So, any further discussion?
Money well spent.
Hearing none, all in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Well, and then just for, we're only on the hook for 20% of the
Mhm.
inspections. Federal, state.
One thing I had for you go, I noticed with the warm weather, or are we gonna do anything with load limits anytime soon? Or just, I guess we could let the public know if it stays nice like this, you may be putting them on? Is that,
Well, right, the warning shot should hopefully be in the paper on Saturday, so.
yeah, okay,
We'll keep an eye on it and what happens
Yeah.
between now and next week.
But-
It depends.
and it might be a good idea if the public, if you have heavy, non-divisible loads, get them moved now before we put the load limits in, because they could last a while, so,
Right.
all right, thank you, appreciate that.
Okay. Sheriff's 2025 fourth quarter report. Preston.
Welcome.
Good afternoon, Commission. So I apologize, I wasn't able to make it last time. I was in Sioux Falls for the Boys and Girls Club. I'm on the executive board, so I was gone. But I'm happy to be here to give you the fourth quarter report from 2025. And just to kind of give some numbers, just letting you guys know how we ended the year. So like I said, when I took over as sheriff, I renegotiated our marshal contract. going from $75 a night to $105. In 2025, we were able to generate 1.371 million just for the U.S. Marshal holds. We bought those transport vans because we had to replace our previous vans that had high mileage on it, which I'm happy to say Purple Wave did sell one of them today for $5,000. I was told, so you get some money back from an old van. But we did generate about $110,000 on transports that we did for the U.S. Marshal Service. And as a whole, I'm not gonna go through all of them, but the sheriff's office was able to generate about 1.8 million for the year in 2025, just by our fees, our county holds for surrounding counties, things like that. So just to let you guys know how we ended up.
Sheriff, question for you. With Clay County opening, have you seen any decrease in inmates, or is that not a problem? I suppose there's always too many inmates, unfortunately, so.
Well, I know that Andy over there at the sheriff's office is looking to fill his jail.
Okay,
But with the federal government, I'm sure there's a plethora of
okay.
bed space. I do anticipate that he'll end up doing U.S. Marshal holds at some point. It just hasn't happened yet.
Do you think that'll hurt us, or you feel there's enough inmates around that it's, I mean, from what I hear from your association, at least it's hard to find open beds in the state, when they need somebody. So it's probably we have not enough space rather than too much.
Yeah, and actually Edmonds County in South Dakota, they're just building, I think it's about a 60 bed jail.
Yep, I believe so.
And Edmonds County is much, much smaller than Yankton County, but they are trying to plan for their future, and they are going to do housing for U.S. Marshal Services as well, because I think there's a district court here in Aberdeen. So they're going to jump on the Marshal train as well. But I don't see us losing much. And with our population growing in Yankton County, we may actually lose some spots for our U.S. Marshal Service because we have more people that we might have to house, but that's unfortunate. But I think our numbers still provided some pretty good numbers for the year 2025.
Thank you.
Otherwise, is there anything in the packet that you guys have questions about?
No, it's just to remind everybody that was paid off this year, and you guys got your tax statement out, and there was no debt service on it. So you should have gotten a little bit of some tax relief there that had been on for 20 years, and that was paid off. It was a good thing, and so.
And as the quarter ends, we did have some employees leave the jail. We've hired some new ones. The Yankton Police Department and the Sheriff's Office, we've been swapping employees. Chief Foot and I kind of knew that was going to happen when I took over. And so we're keeping some guys local, and they're going over there, and we're getting a couple, so.
Move approval of the sheriff's quarter report.
Oh, and then I do want to bring one more thing up real quick. Sorry. I think in the future here, as I, learn more about the office, when somebody comes in and does they pay their bond, we normally will tag on a $25 sheriff's fee that we would collect for serving the warrant. We're not able to include that into the bond, so a lot of times we can't collect that 25, but we do send that stuff over to Patty at the auditor's office. So I do want to get with Patty. I don't know if, because I know we sent some letters out from the county to we were talking about unclaimed fees that we try to collect, and those are another ones that we are sometimes can't collect. And actually the confinement costs, because when people sit out their fines, we're able to charge an extra $10 for them to stay with us to sit out their fines. And so there's a lot of unclaimed money there that we need to try to recoup.
So they sit longer for their fines? Is that how does that work? Can you explain that to me then?
When you're broke, you just sit out your fines in the county jail.
But I mean, wouldn't, I mean, if we could get $105 for a marshal hold versus, somebody sitting it out, would there be it just doesn't seem like that makes sense because they're sitting in there taking up space. Your people have to deal with them. We're feeding them.
Yeah.
I mean, is there something we could?
I think if we solve Brian Hunoff's problem, we'll solve ours too.
Yeah.
So what you're saying though is somebody commits a crime, let's just say they run a stop sign
Yep.
out in the county. It's what, a $50 fine,
It's about 120.
$120 fine?
Yeah.
So you bring them in, they sit in the office, sit in a jail cell for 2 days. Instead of paying the $120, they sit there for 2 or 3 days and go scot-free. Only thing is, it's on their record that they ran a stop sign.
Yeah. I
So,
wish it was.
so what's our state's attorney's office do at that point in time?
There's only so much that the.
And that's a state regulation that
Yeah, I
that
mean,
they
the state-
can't do anything?
the
Is that
state's-
correct or?
The state's getting a conviction of the crime and then they can't.
Credit.
But they never pay it.
But
No, they get credit for sitting in jail
we,
Eat our food.
what
I
I'm
get that,
saying is we would be money.
and using the
ahead to
heat and the
pay-
water.
We
Yeah.
would be money ahead to pay their fine and get them out of there and open a spot for a marshal hold, then let them, because it's costing us $105 a day minus the 60. It makes no sense why we would do.
I think the moral of the story here,
Yeah.
crime doesn't pay even for the jailer.
Well,
Sure.
and so,
Yeah.
I just bring that stuff up because I know that we talked.
I get it.
about
I understand that.
You're
No,
welcome, Pat.
No, but I mean, that really brings up a good point that you bring up inefficiency in the government, and maybe there's some state law, but I mean, we really might be money ahead just paying that for and getting them out of the jail and opening it up for a marshal hold. And I don't know, I'd like to work with you and Don and on our task force where we're looking for efficiencies like that. And I don't want to put this on you right now, but if you could think about it and get back to us on that, because it just seems, I mean, am I wrong saying that seems hugely inefficient?
Someone is sentenced.
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
the court costs them are
Mhm.
Yeah.
The county can't pay that for that.
And it would be ridiculous to do so.
Well, but they're sitting there, they're sitting there for $60 a day when we're losing out on $105 a day.
Well,
Now, we can recoup up to $10 a day for the 60 that they're sitting out. And so those are the fees that we should be trying to
It
better
doesn't,
collect.
it doesn't make sense in my opinion, for somebody, and especially if it's non-violent minor, that they're forced to sit for however long because they can't pay their bill. That
If-
doesn't make sense to me.
If we can get, and this is way out of the realm of whatever possibilities, but if we can get a return on our funds of spending $1,350,000 and getting $7.5 million from the federal government, it only would make sense to me to pay $60 a day and get them guys out of there and recoup if we can put another, whatever. It just don't make sense to me that we
Or
gotta,
at least-
we gotta have these people sit there when they're committing a crime in Yankton County. And
Well, maybe
we're actually, it's actually.
maybe you should
costing
go
money to-
suggest that to the judge, that the county will pay all criminal fines
Well,
Yeah.
in order to free up jail cells for marshal
I
money.
know, yeah.
That's
I still haven't
ridiculous.
seen enough, Patty.
I'd like to be there that day, so if you could just let us know when that would be.
So I just bring it up just because.
Maybe our state legislatures should work on a program
Mhm.
that takes care of issues like, at least like this. I mean, we're sitting here saying whatever in Pier this session, and we're not dealing with issues like this for counties to save money.
And,
That's where I'm getting at. So.
and I know we talked about the fourth quarter. I'm also gonna be working with, Jeff Brown, the EM director, about, recouping, costs for like Medicaid, because even in the jail, I was made aware that we were able to, try to make sure that they have some kind of health coverage and that we're going to be able to kind of collect that. So that's another big thing in 2026 that EMS and I we were talking about it earlier today about the billing part of it and how we can collect. Because sometimes the EMS comes to the jail to help out inmates that may be on Medicaid and we don't want to double bill. But the sheriff's office, I believe we should start looking at a billing mechanism where we can collect that information.
Mhm.
The hard part is that when they get booked in, they don't have their insurance cards with them.
Right.
So
Mhm.
we're gonna work.
They usually don't have insurance, do they?
I think I hate to agree with you here, but yeah, you're spot on.
Yep.
So,
I've got a motion from Dan. Can I get a second?
Second,
Second by Ryan to approve our fourth quarter sheriff's report, sheriff and jail report. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Oh, and that you mentioned that insurance, I think is appropriate because we're gonna spend over 15,000 just this month on drugs for the inmates in jail. So, I mean, if there was they had some insurance, it would be significantly less than that.
and Sergeant Rave does an excellent job where she tries to get that information. I think when EMS picks people up,
Mhm.
how do they get their insurance information? So we want to try to be more efficient at the sheriff side of it. So
No, you're doing a good job.
thank
Appreciate
you.
it.
Thank you. Now, so go ahead.
Go ahead. No,
Go
you
ahead.
go ahead with the claims, the cameras.
Oh, okay. So before I took office, also Sheriff Lahakis had made mention that in the government center that we were gonna have to do upgrades because the camera system's over 10 years old. And so I brought James Stratmeyer from ITS. He actually has the camera system for this building as well. And he's the guru with all this stuff. So I'm gonna turn the mic over to him, but I'll be around for questions if you wanna.
I don't think real guru, but
Well,
I'm good with Google.
Welcome.
So, good evening.
Please state your name one more time. for the-
James Stratmeyer with Integrated Technology and Security. Just put together a few kind of statistics of what we've been doing over the past few years. As you know, and just spoke, the building was built in between 2006 and 2008 with a main turnover of the facility in 2009. Over the past probably 8 to 10 years now, we've been slowly replacing things that have about a 10-year lifespan. Some more recent things that we did is we did the servers back in 2025, just last year. We've done some cameras over the past few years with the new camera technology. What we're basically doing is taking down in locations where there's 2 cameras or 3 cameras, we're taking it down and putting one up that has multiple sensors on it. We've also replaced some of the intercom head end equipment. Basically, we're looking at the key components that are a single point of failure. Overall, the system countywide is about 168 devices or cameras on it, with a lot of those being multi-sensor, and those go between the government center here to the public safety center and also the emergency management side. So basically what we're looking to do in basically this year in 2026 is there's about 100 cameras yet that were installed in 2014 and 2015. So with end of official support in 2021. So I don't want to say we're on a borrowed time, but they're 11 years old and essentially it's a computer with a lens. So at that time, most of them even had a 1-year warranty. And I think I can count on one hand the amount of failures we've had in this past time. But now we're looking to replace those. All of the new ones that we're proposing, they're all Axis brand. They come with a 5-year standard warranty. So what we're looking at doing is just replacing the things that are a single point of failure, kind of trying to mitigate those large costs and pushing that out over a long period of time. So that's what we're looking at this year. And then next year, we're even having discussions of probably updating the PLC side, which is the door control side of it. I did go in before this and looked, and it's amazing. Some of the door cycles are even, there's counters on them. We're at 1.4 million cycles on some of the doors already in that. So that's how often they've used the doors in 20 years. So it lets us stay a little proactive in the maintenance side and that thing. So that's basically all I had.
And that's all over for the jail, you're saying, or were you talking about replacing cameras in this building as well?
Both. So what we do is we sort by the oldest first. Emergency management is pretty new. They're 2 to 3 years old. And so a lot of this facility, I believe was 2016. I don't have that in front of me, but it was
Okay.
kind of that same age. And what we do is we sort by the oldest and we go, okay, where can we keep an older camera that's not going to, we won't get a lot of value out of updating it, but then also if it's a more common area, booking, things like that, we'll try and change it.
Okay. You were saying we had about 100 cameras that are entering the end of their life cycle and the newer ones are multi-angle. Or is there an opportunity to reduce the amount of cameras that we have?
Yep.
With newer technology? So what would you say we could go down a number and still not sacrifice security?
We've done a lot of those on the
Are you-
exterior of the building.
Okay.
In the jail,
Yeah.
we are gonna decrease some, but
Yeah.
not near as many.
Yeah.
Areas that we do decrease are like some of the small sally ports. If you've been in the facility, we,
Mhm.
a 10-foot long hall, we'll go to 1/360, then we do a virtual camera each
Okay.
direction, those types of things, but just the nature of the building.
Yeah.
And some of those are like corner mount anti-ligature where they can't hang themselves and those types
So
of.
some of this has to be done in this fiscal year.
It's kind of up to you guys. It's just whenever we decide to start replacing them, they're 11 years old. So it's,
And what is the approximate cost of what you're talking about?
looking at about 140 right now, 140,000 across 120 cameras. We did get approval from Axis, the camera manufacturer, to utilize state contract pricing for the facility. That's pretty common to do with those. So we've put some budget numbers together and it's all itemized pricing so we can look through. The cost is not, that kind of averages about 1,200 a camera. Cameras aren't 1,200 a piece. The one in here might be 300, where like the anti-ligature ones that are in the holding cells are closer to 2,000. So really depends on what camera we're using and what application.
Is that in our
So-
budget?
I'm sorry, what?
So, you have, so our current system has 168 devices.
Yes,
That's cameras. That consists of cameras and
that's just the
servers.
cameras on it.
just the
So,
cameras, just the endpoint
168
cameras.
Physical cameras,
Okay.
there's a lot more sensors. So like the exterior ones on the building, even this facility is one camera with 4 sensors in it.
Okay, so we have 168 cameras and we're looking at about 100 cameras that are of the 2014, 2015
Yeah.
age. Okay.
Which we've kind of budgeted for out of the jail upgrade replacement funds. So it's not something that is kind of should be an unexpected or that we're, like say, trying to do, okay, this year we'll do cameras. I forget what the servers were. I think it was about 50 that we took out of that, but those servers were running on 10-ish years old because those were installed in 2014, 2015. New servers have a 6-year warranty with them. So again, we run them a little longer than we probably should, but they are redundant. So if one fails, we can transfer the load over. So,
Well, the ones that go in here won't come out of the jail.
Yeah. this
no,
would be-
and so that's kind of a separate
Yeah.
one that we just did some budget numbers on. We were going to piggyback on the pricing though of the jail ones. So
Is there, so you're looking at the 100, what you've priced out right now is the 100 just to be a project this year?
yep.
Okay. So is there a way we can scale these, maybe do some this year, some that kind of scale them through the years?
We sure can. We can pick a portion and say, maybe we want to do 50 this year, or maybe we want to do 20 or
Okay,
the only thing is we'll try to pick areas of the facility instead of randomly around. So we might,
Mhm.
like booking and intake
Mhm.
or booking and holding cells, things like that.
so, and then you also did mention, yes, there's places we have where we can eliminate cameras, go with a single more complex camera.
Yes.
Are those more clustered? Is that maybe something where, like you said, you don't want to sporadically go about this. You want to go about this in an ordered way.
Well, and in the jail, we actually went down, there was 96 analog cameras when we started just in the jail facility. And so when we did the upgrade in 2014 to IP cameras, we did cut that quantity back pretty significantly at that time. Again, going from where there's 2 side by side to a single. doing this next phase, we won't have as many because we've kind of done that once already. Last year, we did also upgrade the exterior of the building. And I don't want to say it ended up getting a free camera out of the deal, but part of the reason that we did that is we recouped the licensing. So on the corners of the facility, there were 2 or 3 individual cameras, and we wanted to add cameras in the building. So by upgrading the exterior ones to a multi-sensor, we basically recouped those licenses and then used them on the interior cameras and saved a fair amount that way, so.
Yeah, a couple of things on those servers. When you get past the life cycle, the retention time, and if you know that you work for the public, we get, some people want to sue everybody. So we want to make sure that we can go back in time and be able to recoup some video, so that way we can dispute some people's claims, which with this recent one we just did, it did come in handy, and I already talked to, John about some of that stuff. So that's why the retention thing it's a big deal for the county.
How long do they retain information?
Well, I would rather not tell that to the public.
Well, can you tell me later?
I could tell you later, yes.
So, speaking of these servers, are these servers backed up regularly?
Guru, you can have it.
The configuration side of them there's their VM hosts or virtual machine hosts, and they're redundant. So if one fails, the load will take over. We'll just not have the performance.
Okay. So the machines are backed up, but the data isn't backed up.
The recorded data is not, but we would have to have a pretty massive failure with that. The other thing is where these servers live. When they built the facility in 2008, they really did the security electronics room correct. So there's additional fire protection, what we call an FM200 system. So even if there was a fire in there, it keeps things running, things like that, and it puts it out with a chemical agent. So yeah, there is levels of redundancy throughout, including keeping configuration offsite. But what we try to do is kind of find that happy medium to, go, hey, where's the risk versus the reward and investment costs?
Do you need a motion is this just an update? Tell us what's going on with these?
No, I don't believe we do. I think if you guys do something over here, you guys will probably talk amongst yourselves on what you want to do. I just had James come down just to kind of give an update, because we do have to upgrade some in the jail, but also this building probably needs to be addressed at some point too. And so that's why I thought bringing them down here to explain to you guys about this building as well. So, but I don't think there's any motion for anything, just a discussion so you guys are aware that we're getting to the lifespan of cameras.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Are you also in the Rockathon, did I hear? Is that correct? Or
yes.
What day is that?
Don't give Chief Foot or Tim Linky, the fire chief, any money.
Tell everybody what is the Rockathon and when are you rocking and how to donate to it?
So every year we participate in the Rockathon for the center. And so I usually compete against X amount of people. It would be the fire chief, a second responder, in my opinion. A joke.
And the police chief.
And the police chief. So at the end of the day, it's all for a good cause, and there's multiple people that participate. I know Dan participates in it. So we just get on a platform and we rock our chairs to help raise money for the center for their Meals on Wheels program.
And when is that?
It's usually during St. Patrick's Day. So. And Brian Hunoff gave me a nice hat.
March 20th, I believe, is the date this year.
Yeah. So I know I got a nice shamrock hat from Brian Hunoff. So
thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Appreciate it. Thanks for the information.
Thanks, Preston. Thank you.
I'd move to approve claims.
And a motion by Wander to approve the claims. Get a second?
I'll second it. But again, like I said, it'd be really cost beneficial to get some sort of insurance, or if people have Medicaid, because if you look, we spent $15,000 just on drugs for the jail. If we could get those numbers down, that would really help us. But
maybe we could get some criminals that have better health.
I've got a motion I've got a motion and a second on the claims. Any further discussion on claims? Hearing none, all in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
I'd move to approve the January 2025 minutes, 26 minutes, I'm sorry.
Second.
Motion by Wanda, second by Don to approve the January 20th, 2026 minutes. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay.
I'd move to talk about the 2026 wage resolution in executive session number 16.
Motion you made?
I'm sorry,
That was the motion.
that was my motion.
A second.
Got a motion by Wanda, got a second by Don to discuss our approval of 2026 wage resolution in executive
We
session.
can't
Is that?
approve- We can't approve it, but we can discuss it.
Right,
We can-
we're there, we can discuss
So
it. We can,
are we tabling that till after the executive session?
yes.
Yeah.
Or, yeah, I'm fine with that.
All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. January 2026 payroll report.
What about the rangeland? Oh, oops, sorry.
I'm sorry, what?
Move approval of the January payroll. Where is that at? Is that's?
That's
behind the
January
range
26,
Payroll,
number 12. That's a payroll, right?
Yes.
move approval.
Second.
Got a motion by Dan, second by Ryan to approve the 2026 payroll. Further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Rangeland Fire Protection.
That's just a yearly thing that we do.
Move approval.
Got a
Second.
motion by Dan, second by Wanda to approve the 2026 Rangeland Fire Protection Resolution. Further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Now's the time for public comment. Do we have anyone that wants to speak for public comment? Yes, ma'am.
Welcome.
Christy Conway, I live in northern Yankton County. I want to come and say a couple of things. Number one, I do have an issue with my property taxes. Just officially, 2026, you have one person. If you look on Facebook, there's actually a few. One of the reasons I don't come here is last year, numerous times, over and over, you guys talked about as a commission, you really don't have any control over it. Most of our property taxes go to the schools. You can't do anything about the schools. You guys have a lot of state mandates for the little bit of a funding that you guys do get. So I want you to know there is a problem. People don't bring it to you. You really can't solve it for us. So that's why we don't come. Number two, it's kind of frustrating. We come to a lot of the meetings. We watch them online. You guys keep saying, hey guys, come here, listen to our meetings, tell us your opinions, tell us what's going on in the county. And then you guys just say, talk to your legislators. Get them to stop funding or mandating things that aren't funded. So if you guys can't do anything with the funds that we have a problem with, then we are not going to come to you for them. But thank you for what you do.
Thank you. I think Tom wants to come up.
Yep, Tom.
And thank you for putting all the way down.
Yeah, you're welcome.
My name is Thomas James Bixler, and I wanted to respectfully let the commission know that I am a candidate for the position of Yankton County Auditor, which Auditor Hoyam currently holds. And I just wanted to let you know that if any of you in the audience or on the board would like to sign my petition, most of you have seen where I am sitting before I come up here. If you want to sign it, that's great. If you don't, I respect your I respect your opinion on it. I'm running because I want to serve Yankton County. And I don't have any desire to throw anyone out of office or make a tax. And I think that's part of what would make me a good candidate, because I don't spend my time. If I could use one of you for an example, I don't spend most of my time saying that Chair Markwart, who I know is a bad person, and I don't spend my time doing that. And that's why I'm hoping that you'll sign my petition. Again, if you want to, I'll be here. If you don't, I respect it. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Tom.
Thank you.
Thanks, Tom. Anyone else wish to speak at public comment?
I
Yeah.
would move to go into executive session for poor relief.
Public comment first.
I thought, sorry.
Public comment is closed.
But Commissioner,
Now I move
Now-
to
now
go
we'll
into
do-
executive session for poor relief
Can
and
we do public?
personnel
things
issues.
First? Can we do public commissioner updates first?
Oh, I'm sorry. I have none.
Got a few things. CSI has got a waiver so that they can now directly work with the Secure South Dakota. We're going to be moving forward with that. They've also identified several other hardware issues. We're working on trying to get some of that Secure South Dakota money to help pay for some of those hardware upgrades. Yeah, there's a lot of work happening in the background there with getting onto the single domain for the government, which is important.
the .gov, yeah, that's
The
great, great
.gov,
news.
yeah, which is going to be more important in the future as all federal things will require you to use such a domain in order to send documents securely and everything. So,
And on that, I don't want to, but I mean, that's so important with, when we look and see what happened to Tripp County, for the people who don't know. Tripp
not
County
so much that.
Well,
But the next
Yeah.
thing is,
Yeah.
the next thing is talking
Mhm.
about is exactly that, our
Yeah.
security solution for the
Yeah.
county. I'll probably talk a little bit more, but we do need a lot more than what we are currently doing. CSI does have a solution put together. It's a little bit more expensive. I'm working through all the details of how that works on our budget, but it does give us that extra protection that we really do need, particularly against email, particularly against phishing and some of these other newer threats that we have that we really don't have the protection in right now. So going to work with them to try to come up with the best solution there. But that will probably be an increase in some of our IT costs. Right now, I'm trying to keep it within our budget, so. And of course, also some of that too, if all the stuff with Secure South Dakota comes through, some of that also goes away too, so. Hopefully, between those two things, that we can have a much more thorough and secure network than what we have now, and it won't cost us too much more.
Okay. Dan, you got anything?
Just real quick, yeah, I mean, what Ryan was talking about, for those of you who don't know, Tripp County was the victim of a cyber attack where they lost about $800,000. So we don't want that to happen. So appreciate your work on that. February 17th, we have the ditch board meeting. I guess I'm gonna be there. We need at least 3, so 10 o'clock in at Clay County in Vermillion at the
Did you say
4-H.
10 or what?
10 o'clock. Oh, well, good thing 1 o'clock.
I had it in my calendar at 1. So I'm not sure. You could have been there 3 hours early though.
Yeah, so I'll be there, and whoever else up in the legislature, like we talked about, there are something like 35 property tax bills, a whole bunch of them, so stay involved and engage your legislators on that. There's also was something for, an ambulance that is going to study the cost of that, which I really appreciate.
Another task force.
Yeah,
Summer
task
task
force.
force, summer
That's-
study.
That's all I have. Thank you.
Don. I know you got a public comment or a commissioner comment.
Well, we talked towards the end of the last fiscal year about putting two task forces together, one to kind of look at maybe our overall strategic planning within the county, see if there's areas that we can improve and create income, positive income flow. And the other was to review our financials to make sure we're not missing something and we're looking at it correctly. And so I put together, first we'll look at strategic planning. So, no, that's all right. They got them. I'm gonna kind of go through because the public might be interested in this. What I'm not gonna do tonight is name any of the people that have agreed to serve on the task force, and that's because we're gonna handle that at the next meeting.
Yep.
But I'll give you kind of what we're looking at in the county strategic planning task force. The Yankton County Commissioners have discussed processes that we might be able to adapt to our ordinances, rules, and procedures that we can adopt to create an improved environment for future economic growth and development. Other counties have engaged in similar activities and have found that they receive their best product by engaging members of the county that have achieved a great success in their areas of work. We believe that a task force of 10 to 12 people would be a number that could address most areas adequately and still function effectively. We also believe that by gathering community input in this manner, we can accomplish improved acceptance with the county for the economic development format and processes. We would also hope that this would improve collaboration and cooperation between the different entities of the county. We would suggest that there might be a number of actions, policies, or procedures that the task force might address. Some of them might include develop goals for the task force, establish timeframes for goal completion, develop criteria for success evaluation, establish communication processes to keep the public informed. I think that's a really important one. Develop processes to communicate economic development ideas to the appropriate economic development organizations. And the county commissioners will have the final authority for approval of economic development decisions within the county jurisdictions. We would like to have task force representatives providing input from manufacturing, the school board, administration, medical, agriculture, banking, cities commission, small towns, retail, accounting, county department head, and Marty University. We've had a good amount of interest in serving on these boards. Yeah, and I think next week next meeting when we've decided on that, everybody will have a good idea of who's going to serve on this and their qualifications. Are there any questions about that?
No, I agree with you, Don, and something I think that I'd like to see us do is visit some of our small towns in the lake area and do kind of a public outreach to get the perspective of the communities. And I'm glad you mentioned small towns on that. I think that's really something that has the potential to improve the county, facilitate our small towns into growing again. I think that would be a good thing. So I'd like to meet
Yeah.
with, and I know most of them, but we should have some meetings with the small town leadership and ask them what their barriers are and what we're able to do, you know, to help them out. And then I'd also think we probably need to have a meeting out in the lake area. I mean, we're pretty unique in our county. You know, we have Yankton is a big city. We have the small towns, but a distinct area is the lake area. You know, it's not incorporated, but it is different than any of the other ones. And maybe we could meet with some of the leadership out there and get their opinion on what they want to see.
Yeah,
And what they don't want to see too, probably.
Strategic planning will be something that will be a long-term task force,
Yeah.
hopefully, and it'll provide some value to the county.
Yeah. I guess how I'd like to do it, I think you're the same as, get some public input and see what people are thinking, take that information,
Yes.
come back, formulate a plan.
And that's
after
just
we've
down
gotten-
here.
Yep.
Communication with the,
Yep. I
with the
agree.
public. Cause, it's maybe a useless effort if we, spend money and time and effort
Mhm.
trying to develop AI, for
Mhm.
example. And everybody's gonna vote it down when it comes to the implementation. So, hopefully we can get some input and good discussion on what to look for when we're looking at those kind of things and what we can do within our realm of operation, because we can't do everything.
Correct.
Sounds good.
And the only thing I've got is I got a letter today of thanks from the Boys and Girls Club for Yankton County's generous donation of $35,000. Your support makes it possible for us to carry out our mission to do whatever it takes to provide much needed care for our youth in Yankton and Yankton County. Helping them to reach their full potential. Because of your support, clubs are having a proven impact on the lives of young people and their communities. Your gift will empower youth to learn, explore, and find hope. We are grateful for your generosity and thank you for believing in the mission of your work. Signed, Jody Hernandez. Thank you.
I was gonna also add on the other task force a little bit, John.
Sure, go ahead.
John and I have been working on the financial planning task force, and I'll read the kind of the outlook. The Yankton County Commissioners have been challenged to make drastic changes in their financial cash flow for 2027 and beyond to meet operating expenses, capital improvements, roads, and financial expenses are related to mandatory state and federal requirements. We believe that the 25 carryover income will be adequate to allow the county to pay for 2026 demands, but future expenses versus income make for very challenging financial conditions. And therefore, we want to be ahead on this when we're looking forward to it. And John has contacted some people. We have, again, we're not going to mention names because it's not on the agenda, but that will be done next meeting too. And I would like to see not only a good review, but I would also like to see that this task force examines possible changes in our bookkeeping and reporting areas, so that we as commissioners can take better responsibility for our job requirements.
And I think Ryan and I have discussed that we want to, along with this committee, we want to come up with policies and procedures so that commissioners 5 years from now, 10 years from now, have a plan that they can follow and in the budgeting process and make sure that everything is moving forward and you got anything to add to that, Ryan, or?
No, I think it's a lot. I think there's a lot to the, making sure that the future commissioners have the tools in front of them or, especially since, you know, every commissioner comes in here pretty fresh and green. So.
Okay,
Motion to go into executive session for poor relief pursuant to SDCL 1-25-2 and 28-13 and 28-13-1.3.
And personnel issue.
And personnel, what is that, Wanda? What SDCL is it, 1-25?
I'd have to look it
All right.
up.
That's also under SDCL 1-25.
so motion by Dan, second by
Me.
Wanda.
Second.
Into executive session, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Dan, you made the motion and wanted to use that.
Yes.
Correct.
You said you made a motion.
I made 2 other premature
first. Oh, yes.
Make a motion to go back into regular session.
Second. Normally, they have a 4 number. I would move to approve the lawsuit settlement relative to poor relief. Relative to poor relief in the amount of $7,810.56.
Got a motion, or need a motion by Wanda, second by
Second.
Dan, Ryan. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay.
Move to approve the lawsuit settlement in the amount of $1,734.54, which includes disbursements of $175.27 with an original principal of with the compromise principal of $1,559.27.
Motion by Wanda,
Second.
Further discussion, hearing none, all in favor, aye.
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 Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Move to approve the lawsuit settlement in the amount of $10,378.36, which includes disbursements of $173.75 for an original compromised principal amount of $10,204.61.
Motion by Wanda, second by
Second.
Ryan. Further discussion, hearing none, all in favor, aye.
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 Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Motion to approve the burial cost in the amount of $1,250 for an indigent person. And again, this one does not have a county poor relief number, but we'll fix that going forward.
Motion by Wanda, second by
Second.
Ryan. Approve the burial for $1,250. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
And then lastly, I would move the approval of the 2026 wage resolution to the next meeting, which would be the second meeting in February.
Motion by Wanda.
Second.
Move, second by Ryan to move the 2026 wage review to February 17th meeting. Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Motion to adjourn.
Got a
Second.
motion by Dan, second. Okay,
Maybe we should, if you're not gonna be here and you're a pretty important part of the task force, so
Will you be back in March?
do you wanna just do that in March then? Cause and then that would give us the time to contact people and make sure they're willing to serve, and we'll just do it March, okay. Motion to adjourn.
On the second.
motion by Dan, second by Wanda to adjourn. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. We are adjourned.